All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and after a little under 24 hours of a wait, we are finally going to have NASCAR All-Star Race qualifying at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Pit stop competition as well incorporated into this qualifying session, as this is going to be an interesting run. As a lot of fun usually with All-Star Race qualifying, obviously with the pit stop procedure involved in it. There is no raw feed available at this moment. Maybe when we get into qualifying, it will become available, but as of right now, that is not the case. So I'll just leave the point standings on the screen for the time being, kind of flash back and forth between that and the chat. But thanks for everybody tuning in here late morning into the early afternoon, a busy, busy day on the channel. If all goes unhinged. There is more rain in the forecast later at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, but as far as qualifying goes, we will get this in uninterrupted, and it will be commercial free on Fox Sports 1 as well. I did hear Mike Joyce state that. They're going to run straight through it so they can get the truck race started on time with more rain looming later. Truck race will begin at 1:30 Eastern Time. And obviously, we will have live commentary coverage for that. And we will also have live commentary coverage for the NASCAR heat races for the All-Star race, which will be later tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern. Of course, weather pending. So that is today's coverage. NASCAR 7 as well later tonight. So a quadruple header on the channel for maybe the first time ever, I think. This is going to be an interesting one, though. So appreciate everybody tuning in again here today. As far as this goes, 17 drivers will qualify. All the open drivers are locked up for their starting lineups. They began qualifying late yesterday evening after the 50-minute practice session, which was incorporated in both open and all-star race entries. That qualifying session, had 3 drivers still to qualify: Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, and Ty Gibbs. But because of the rain that was at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in the middle of qualifying, they did not finish it, so they have to start based off of driver standing. So Ty Gibbs, who was the last to qualify, will actually be the first driver out on the racetrack when the open begins. And again, that is tomorrow evening before the All-Star race. So although there is more rain in the forecast later today, and we might not get the heat races in, and the truck race could get pushed back to tomorrow, we at least have qualifying for you, and we will still have NASCAR 07 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. As far as the rest of the forecast for tomorrow, there is no rain all the way through the afternoon into the night. I think it's less than 20% chance of rain all day tomorrow at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. So if the truck race gets moved, they would likely end up having that early afternoon, about noon, 1 o'clock-ish, if I had to guess, before the 5:30 open race, before the All-Star race main event at 8 p.m. It might be an all-day affair of racing tomorrow rather than today. As far as the heat races go, if those get washed out, then the starting lineup will be based off of qualifying that you'll see right here. And that is why it's important to get this qualifying in right now and why they pushed it back. Of course, with the pit stop competition incorporated. If there wasn't money on the line with the pit stops, I don't think they would have necessarily rescheduled qualifying. But because there is a financial incentive, I guess, to get this qualifying procedure in, that is why NASCAR had rescheduled it here for today. As far as this, maybe this is the only on-track activity live commentary stream we get today, but appreciate those of you tuning back in. Of course, we streamed this yesterday. We waited out the rain delay. Still got NASCAR 07 in late last night as well. And here we are. I'm excited to get this underway. Qualifying procedures, this is how it works. Each driver will get 3 laps, and during the course of those 3 laps, you have to make a 4-tire pit stop. You cannot speed on pit road. Speeding penalties are in place. I know at Charlotte Motor Speedway, they used to not have that. You could full throttle it down 160, 180 miles an hour. The reason why you can't do that here at North 30 miles per hour, if you are speeding, obviously that will be incorporated into your time, and your time will be disallowed. So again, 3 laps for each driver, 17 drivers, and it will be consecutive runs. Again, there will be no break period between drivers, so it's going to be action-packed for about the next half hour or so through qualifying. It's going to be a very short stream, really, because obviously practice, we got in without any rain yesterday for 50 minutes. That was the majority of the stream. And then the open qualifying just about finished up. This is literally all we had left last night's coverage. So just finishing that up here today. William Walton Jr., Billy Kramer, NASCAR 2311 Cup Series Racing, Wade Smolinski, Jackson Thomas. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Zachary K., also welcome to the stream. and many others. Be sure to hit the like button. We did get our like goal on this stream yesterday. It's going to be tough to get back to 50 for today, so let's just try to get to 25 at least, considering the stream will probably be over in about a half hour. Regan Smith interviewing last week's winner, Brad Keselowski, right now.
So stats again. Huge to get the pole, right? You know, last year, if you qualify on the pole, I don't think you got the pole for the race. You only got it for the heat race. Here, you get it way through the race. So that's part of the reason why qualifying here is so important. We want to start up front for the All-Star race. It's usually a good sign. We got the speed to take advantage. We're able to start up front. Excited to see how these few laps go. Can execute on pit road. Not just the pit crew, the driver too, Reed, because you know the way we got to run pit road speed here. Can't give anything up there, and then you got the 2 laps on the track. So it's interesting.
Lots to look at, lots to focus on. Good luck with that, Brad. Jamie?
And Daniel Suarez, pit crew all here. Josh Bush, he changes tires for the front side of the race car. But this guy is his Super Bowl champion from Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos. But you found your way over here to pit road. How did that transition happen? And what do you get out of this competition competing with the team?
Yeah, so Austin Dillon's one of my good friends. He taught me into joining NASCAR. And it's been well so far. Here I am 3.5, 4 years later, just being around these guys, growing the camaraderie, just getting to know each other's family and everything. And us just coming together, forming a brotherhood is really what it's about.
Your heart rate go up just a little bit when you're getting ready for this?
Not yet. We're going to keep it calm right now. But, you know, maybe after the stop, it'll go up.
All right, well, best of luck to you guys. Mike?
Well, Jamie, the 5 car will be the first to qualify, and Jamie's our Indy 500 expert. In fact, she's going to be with Kyle Larson for the Memorial Day double for Fox. Jamie missing out on the first round of qualifying here today. Deep of a hole. Does this put Larson in, and can he climb out?
Well, I think it's momentum killer. Moment. Imagine all the nerves just for him to get ready, get strapped into that race car and go out for that first run, only to have to afford it. Now what they have to do, they have to recollect themselves. They have to wait. They will have another shot later as long as the weather holds out in Indianapolis. After all 34 cars have one run, he can get in line and go for a second run, and he can qualify himself into the race today. Also tomorrow, they have qualifying all day. If he qualifies 13th back to 30th, he can better his opportunity. He can move up that starting grid. But right now, the focus is on just qualifying, and he can do it today.
Okay, thanks. Well, his stock car will be the first one to go here with Kevin Harvick aboard the HenryCars.com number 5.
Well, for now, you see that sun shining down on his race car. A lot of pressure on Kevin Harvick. My booth made up here, boys. This is the first car out. He's going to go out there and feel what this track has in store for these guys, hit all those marks on pit road, and let his boys do the work. Fast pit crews. 3 of the top 4 in the Cup Series come from Hendrick Camp.
And remember, Kyle Larson will have to start the All-Star race at the rear, but we've talked about that pit selection. That's so important. If you get that last pit box leaving pit road, that's huge for those pit stops tomorrow night. When that lollipop sign turns, qualifying begins. The green. And I'm anxious to see what the grip level of this racetrack is. All the rubber was washed off, and we were in clouds yesterday, and we're in really significant sunlight right now.
That's what I love about the booth, Larry. We're anxious. He's nervous. Looks pretty good, though. You can see, watch his wheel go locked right there in the center, though. He was fighting a little bit of tight condition in the center of the car with his car. It still looks to be a little bit tight. Roll in the middle.
Have to diamond the track down at the north end. Okay, here he comes. 30 miles an hour from that yellow line on.
Max pit road speed. He's going to run the wall on the corner. You can hear him speed up a little bit. You'll hear him once it gets straight, starting to slow down. Looking for his pit crew. I'll like around.
Right there is what he's watching. Is that RPM? Last year's winnings. It's not challenge. 13.012.
After left rear on, didn't get it on.
Jack Van had to make an extra pump. 30 miles an hour plus a 5-mile-an-hour tolerance to the end of pit road.
Man, this
and then he'll complete his run.
not been a good day for the Larson camp.
Having trouble in Indy, they had trouble here. Gonna complete his lap, get back on the racetrack, come around, take the checkered flag. Not what they were looking for, though. Hard to do. First one, a lot of pressure on you. Been sitting around here all day long, and then all of a sudden the weather clears. All right, go now. Team number 4 in our pit crew rankings. Average 4-tire stop time with trouble on the left rear. 1 minute 36.3 is the total time. 17.9 is the pit stop time. Let's have a look here, Larry.
You'll see the left rear goes on. They can't get it on. He has to come back across, and because the jack man is indexing the tire, he's doing double duty there. Had to jack the car a second time.
Yeah, unfortunately, that puts it all on him. When you're jacking the car and hanging the left rear and it's not high enough, you're in trouble.
AJ Allmendinger in the leaf filter Campers in RV Chevrolet. Made it into the All-Star race at the Roval at Charlotte. Hard charger, full-time in the Xfinity Series this year.
AJ, he'll be aggressive coming on the pit road. Look for him to get it all coming on the pit road and then obviously wrapping that outside, getting into that box. Pit road in the 5-car was.
Racing a variety of drivers in the 16 this year, including Allmendinger. A solid pit stop. Solid.
It's a good job coming on pit road. In and out of the box was aggressive for the driver.
Now, you know, the fueler is involved in the stop, though no fuel is actually being in the race car. The fuel can is empty, but they want to have the fueler engaged because he is a critical part of every pit stop. $151.6 for Allmendinger. It's 5+ seconds roughly faster than Kevin Harvick right in that neighborhood. Next up will be Ricky Stenhouse, the Kroger Health Icy Hot Chevrolet 2023 Daytona 500 winner. Qualified for the All-Star race. JTG Doherty Racing. Stenhouse recently signed a multi-year contract extension.
Well, then, down across the apron, shot up the racetrack a little bit. You can see he lost a little bit of ground. We're going to use this ghost car. See, overrode that corner entry, but was able to dive in the corner, got back to the throttle. Very aggressive. Doesn't roll the center good, but he's able to. Well, you see, green. Now coming on the pit road.
Well, rule 1, make no mistakes.
Don't beat yourself.
Yep.
You have to give your pit crew a chance to operate here. Do not. Right? That's for these racers. Got into the box well. Let's speed to be gained in and out of that box.
Got to have
Front. Have a little bit of trouble coming in as well.
they're not getting the car up off the ground. He's had to jack it about 3 or 4 times. Jack fell.
Same exact thing that we saw in the 5.
In trouble on the right front and in trouble on the left sides.
Well, you can see the difference there.
So on the left side, Jackman will come around, 1 pump on the jack. Down it went. Down it went.
Yeah, you
Didn't have the handle tight.
You see the doors smashed too a little bit.
So Stenhouse finishes up with 1:43.3.
and a pit stop time of over 25 seconds.
And right now, as far as the pit crew challenge, you may have mentioned it, Mike, the benchmark is an Allmendinger of 14.18.
McDowell in the Charlotte Heights Truist Ford won on the Indy Road Course last year to qualify for this All-Star race. Now, the Charlotte Knights are the AAA farm team for the Chicago White Sox, and McDowell's car will be painted up in Sox colors at the Chicago Street Race. By the way,
trouble in the middle of 3 and 4. That's his coming to the green lap.
oh, man. Where the Chicago Street Race is.
I knew that, Mike. I was going to critique you, you know.
Thank you, Clint.
Whoa, hold on to it. Very aggressive coming on the pit road. He stayed out against the outside wall a long time before he made the commitment to pit road. I think that was out of chasing the car of us. Laid black marks up off the corner.
You heard him gas it up just past that last timing line, meaning he can get into his pit box without going over another timing line and being subject to pit road speed there.
Yeah, it's all free right there. Once you cross that timing loop.
But he's the first driver to that way and really take advantage of that.
Well, and each one of these guys going out helps the next team, right? These pit crews are watching those mishaps. They're watching each other coming on to pit road, off of pit road, watching the lap, the line that they're running. A lot of data. Big watch right here.
Michael McDowell's aggression is going to help him here. He's going to go to the top of the board. 1 minute 30.9 for McDowell, and the second fastest pit stop, 14.38. Allmendinger's 14.18. Next up, Daniel Suarez for Team Trackhouse in the Freeway Insurance Chevrolet. Won in Atlanta earlier this season in dramatic fashion.
It's really a good thing this 99 team got that win in Atlanta. It's kind of been a dismal year outside of that, but that's what they needed to do. You win that race, it essentially locks you into the playoffs. Better lap going on than Mike McDowell. Lost a lot of time right there. Got too high. See if he can get the car rotated back down to the power. Down to 1 and 2. Come on a pit road right here. A lot straighter. I like that.
Gain him a car length.
Staying lower in the corner too there. Check this out.
I put your media number. Okay. 3. Yellow one.
And Suarez goes to the top of the pit stop board at 14.039.
Glad you mentioned he ran a tighter radius, and that can be a little bit tricky because you're traveling a shorter distance when pit road speed is being measured time over distance through each section.
As long as you did your homework, right? As long as you practice that and you know what those speeds are, it can be effective. And I think it helped him get into that box. Again, now the problem is these teams that are watching us, they don't have that affordability. They practice and put all their eggs in the basket to run around the outside. But it doesn't surprise me. That crew on that 99 team, 7th overall in the ranking with the Cup Series.
And here's a look at the mechanics where pit crew challenge leaderboards. Suarez over Allmendinger and McDowell so far. Suarez also top of the board in qualifying. Last year's Atlanta winner.
Joey's sitting on 9 consecutive top 10 finishes in the All-Star race. That's tied all time with Matt Kenseth. Loose into the corners. Able to get it back underneath of him. He got to the power good. Holding suit with that benchmark, Daniel Suarez. This car really went through the middle of the wall.
That maybe did.
It did. A lot better in 3 and 4.
So they get him some more in 1 and 2.
Ready? Now. You're green.
You got a lot of speed coming on the pit road to Daniel. Now watch this. Daniel's going to stay lower on the racetrack, or excuse me, pit road. Look at the difference there.
Green. Away.
So back to Series Rams. That's his tack as he comes out of that. His left foot, as well as fueling the car.
And that's what you hear giving those numbers. They are using their spotters because the spotters do that for them during the race, giving them the numbers of their lights on their tack on pit road.
New spotters stand here with Wilkesboro this year. A lot of improvements Marcus Smith has made in his folks.
Going to be a new leader on the top of this board, too.
Logano fastest by 4/10, and fastest overall by 4.5 tenths.
Yeah, mid-13s on that pit crew challenge, pit stop 13.59, and that's what we anticipated that we might actually get down into the low 13s, so mid-13s with that stop.
All right, Christopher Bell rolls out. This is the Yahoo Toyota on the 2023 Bristol Dirt Race. Now, this pit crew was on the 54 last year, so they are the defending champions of the Pit Crew Challenge. Now pitting Christopher Bell.
Going through the center wells, had a little bit of trouble getting the power down up off the corner. Did probably with that 22 car of Logano. Let's see if they can do on pit road.
Conservative end.
Right, for sure. Now.
Three, two, four.
Boy, you didn't have to go on time on the right side to see that that was fast.
Yeah, that was.
He's talking about the heck out. Yep.
Top of the board by quite a bit, too. 22 to a 59. Doesn't appear it's going to be as far as actual qualifying.
Boys did their job. Minute 30.169. Christopher Bell, Joey Logano still quickest. Well, Kevin Harvick, what was it like out there?
Well, it was fine because I didn't have any pressure on me today. It was all about trying to get in and out of the pit box. So we just took a conservative approach to just get some heat in the tires. But here's the hard thing. I think the hardest thing right now is most of these guys ended on reds yesterday. Obviously, the track has been rained on and blown off, but that track got a ton of grip. You got really comfortable and showing up and doing this again on the primary tire. A lot of chatter with the front tires coming to the green. Okay, in 1 and 2, and okay through 3 and 4 on your lap, but come back out on pit road, you have that same chatter. So a lot of grip coming to pit road, as you guys have been talking about, to lose time and gain time right there.
Well, that's what we're seeing, Kevin. You said it right there. Gain and loss on pit road, coming on a pit road, moreover. Are you keeping it in third gear there? A lot of cars just ripping through the gearbox pretty quick off the end of this.
What's the lap time pace? What's the lap time pace, Clint?
Well, we're just giving us a qualifying time of 1:29.7.
Yeah, so I would say if you're going to run slower than like an 1880, you probably need to downshift 19 flat. So I think that downshift is probably, it's going to be team dependent on that lap. But I hear a lot of guys shifting, and coming into pits off a 3 is we have to look at the SMT to see exactly if that downshift helps you brake.
Let's watch this top of the 8 boys here.
Kyle Busch in the Lenovo Chevrolet won the race on to make
Now watch this line right here, Clint. You see a lot of guys staying low out of the pit box from a distance standpoint so that they don't have to go up on their RPM and they can cut that distance on the exit of the pit stall.
They were a little slow on the left rear, but still pretty solid pit stop.
Good lap. Overall performance is right there with our leader, Joey Logano. Can he get any more entry in forward?
Well, the center good here. So Busch third in the pit crew competition and second on the qualifying order.
With all of that, 2 laps, all the stuff going on in pit road, rolling pit times and everything, a 75 to a 79. It's close, boys. I think this isn't competitive. You're wrong.
4/100ths of a second. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it all matters, right? Getting to pit road, every little piece of it matters. So that could be a corner speed, it could be an in the box, on the pit road, lap time. Better be good at all at it.
And everybody's taking a little bit different approach, a little bit different idea. We saw Suarez wrap the corner down there off the road. As you alluded to, leading the box, staying on the bottom of that. Laps seem to be all good, but it's like you said, trying to figure out the grip level on this racetrack is part of the hardest part behind the wheel.
So here's Chris Buescher in the Fastenal 4. Last year, Richmond put him in the All-Star race.
Coming to pit road this time. Did a great job coming on the pit road. Very aggressive. Actually beat Logano a little bit.
He was definitely a downshifter there going into turn 1.
Ranking.
Larry, watch
6th right now.
all of these teams seem to like they are flirting with that left rear tire. That tire barely went on as well.
It's happened to probably 75% of the cars. It's hit pit road so far. Kevin, I'm curious. I asked Clint yesterday, had he ever raced here? Do you feel the sensation of the downhill going down the front straightaway? Feel the back straightaway when you're in the race car?
Well, when you walk it, you can really see it. But turn 1 is really where the feeling, that sensation, because the car goes through this transition during that flatter period into turn 1. So you have to kind of walk the back through the entry down there, and that's where your car needs to be really good to be able to roll a whole bunch of speed in there up the banking as you go in the corner. You saw that groove get really high. There's an extra 2 degrees of banking from the bottom of the racetrack in that top lane. So those guys were starting to bank off of that 2 degrees down there, but you got to be comfortable getting into 1. The rest of it is in your favor.
All right, Brad Keselowski starting his time lap. He is the 10th driver to qualify today out of 17. Got his first win in 110 races last weekend in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington, and now trying to set himself on the pole for the All-Star race this weekend at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Completes his first lap. He will be pitting this time by. As he goes through turns 1 and 2, he does downshift to 3rd gear, some drivers have done. Goes all the way to the wall before diving down towards the pit lane entry. And he will take that outside lane through turns 3 and 4 on pit road. And now the 4-tire stop is going to come into play. Joey Logano still at the top of the charts on the 4-tire stop. Or I should say the overall lap times. Joey Logano is currently first. But Christopher Bell and his pit crew has the fastest time so far. They did until now. I think Brad Keselowski's team has pulled off the fastest 4-tire stop. So momentum is up for the 6 team. And only 6 more drivers will be able, or 7 more, excuse me, will be qualifying after Keselowski is done. The pit stops themselves have been quicker than Joey Logano, but you can tell the distance Logano is able to cut on pit road was a lot better than a lot of other drivers. Keselowski second fastest overall with 1:30.14 to Logano's top time of 1:29.75. And Ross Chastain will be up next. So he hits the racetrack on his not parade lap, but his pace lap before he will get to the start-finish line to begin his time trial run. So right now, Joey Logano is P1, Brad Keselowski is second, Christopher Bell third, Daniel Suarez fourth, Chris Buescher fifth, Michael McDowell sixth, AJ Allmendinger seventh, Kevin Harvick eighth, Kyle Busch ninth, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 10th. There was a pit road penalty for Kyle Busch, speeding, I believe, and that had docked him 10 seconds. So a 10-second speeding penalty here in qualifying puts him 9th overall. He was initially second, and that time he would have initially we've had so far today was from Kyle Busch during this pit stop competition / qualifying run for tomorrow's NASCAR All-Star Race. We got heat races to set the actual lineup for the All-Star Race is scheduled to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Time later this evening, but if rain comes into fruition, then this qualifying procedure will be the starting lineup for the race tomorrow. Top time will still get the pole for the All-Star Race regardless of where they finish in the heats. So that is what those 22 teams going for. And obviously with the pit stop competition, $100,000 on the line for the fastest 4-tire stop. Pretty quick pit stop by the one team of Chastain. Not great getting on and off of pit road for Chastain himself. And that's going to put him in the middle of the leaderboard. 6th of 11 so far. And the fastest 4-tire stop so far is Christopher Bell with a 13.223. Now, if you're wondering why the 4-tire pit stop seems slower by way of time, because that is the total amount of time that the car itself was in the pit box. So as soon as that front bumper hits that line on the entrance to pit road to the back bumper leaving the pit box, the front bumper hitting the white line on the pit box entry and the pit box exit from the back bumper leaving, that is the total time. Ryan Blaney trying to dethrone his teammate Joey Logano for the pole. We'll see if he can do it. Blaney was the 2022 All-Star Race winner at the Texas Motor Speedway, and the same paint scheme he has this weekend with the Wrangler on the hood. Down onto pit road, Logano's first lap and a half was quicker than Blaney, and Logano a bit quicker getting onto pit road. Now it's up to the pit crew, and we'll see if Blaney has a low line through turns 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, I should say, on the exit to pit road. Logano did that. Not a lot of teams have taken the shortest way around the pit lane. And that could be a result in why Logano, despite not having the fastest 4-tire stop, is currently the leader in qualifying. Blaney's pit crew very fast. 13.514 was the total pit stop time. Not fast enough to get the top spot from Bell. And Blaney does not utilize the inside lane like his teammate Logano. And as he gets up to speed to complete his lap, he looks to be a couple tenths of a second off of where his teammate is at. Blaney rounds it out through turns 3 and 4, and he will be second. So 3 Fords at the top after going to victory lane for their first time this season. Now dominating qualifying. Penske front row so far with Logano's 129.75 and Blaney's 129.89. A little over a tenth of a second, the difference between Logano and Blaney. Through qualifying, 12 drivers have qualified, 5 remaining. Final 5 will be Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. in that order. So next is Reddick. Reddick's pit crew is 10th in pit road time average, pit stop time average this season. So let's see how they fare when the pressure is on. Reddick pretty fast on his first qualifying lap. He's ahead of Joey Logano as of right now on speed. Now it's up to the pit crew and the execution for Reddick to get on and off of pit road to detail where the difference is going to be had. Reddick backed it down really easy getting into the pits. You can tell on the Ghost Car tracker that Joey Logano was a lot quicker getting onto pit road, utilizing the braking zone without speeding nonetheless. 45 team of Tyler Reddick. We get on and off of pit lane with a 13.954. Reddick has utilized the inside lane through turns 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 on pit row. We haven't seen anybody else since Logano do that. But because of the slower pit stop time, that is going to be the difference in Reddick not getting the pole versus having a shot at the pole. I believe all 3 Fords that would have been up at the top would have continued on, but I guess there was a speeding penalty for Ryan Blaney. So because of a speeding penalty for Blaney, he is now actually scored in 12th, which is last overall. So it's back to Logano and Keselowski at the top of the charts. So again, a penalty for Blaney and a penalty for Busch on pit road so far of the 14, make that 13 qualifiers. Reddick ended up timing in 6th overall with a 1:30.67, excuse me. A 1:30.67 for Reddick, 6th overall, and now it's William Byron, and we know these Hendrick Motorsport pit crews have been very, very good this season. The 5 team not so fast on pit road in their stop, but we'll see how the 24 and the 9 fares are the next 2 qualifiers. Driver points is the order in which everybody is qualifying in. Because Larson is the points leader, but he is not driving the car for qualifying. That's why Harvick went first. Martin Truex Jr. will be the last to qualify as he's second in the overall standings right now. 24 car of William Byron so far good through the qualifying lap and almost identically even. That's his 4-tire stop today. We'll see what the 24 team will be able to do. 10, 11, 13.8. Not the fastest 4-tire stop for the 24 team, but it's going to be close, and Byron might have a shot to get out ahead of Joey Logano. As of right now, it seems to be the case. Byron through 3 and 4. And back to the start-finish line to conclude his 3 laps. William Byron to the top slot. A 1:29.54. Byron to the pole with 3 drivers still to qualify. Even with pit stops added, William Byron's still able to get poles in the NASCAR Cup Series on a consistent basis. It's unbelievable how good he is at qualifying week over week. I know he had a mistake in his qualifying lap at Darlington last week, but usually he's almost a lock for the top 10 every week. And here today, he is on the top spot right now. I know our leaderboard hasn't been working this entire time on the raw feed on NASCAR.com. I think it has to do with the pit stops being loaded here in qualifying. If I had to guess, that there's probably no metric for the website to be able to measure all that. But Chase Elliott is now on the racetrack. And Elliott doesn't look anywhere near as quick as his teammate William Byron, who just went right before him. Elliott very deep into the braking zone, though. And as long as he didn't end up speeding on pit road, might have a shot there. And speaking of speeding, William Byron with a penalty, so Logano's back to the top slot again. I don't like how it's pretty slow to update, when there's a penalty. It's like well after the driver qualifies. Middle of this run here for Chase Elliott, Byron has dropped out of the top slot. Byron is now slated 11th behind Kevin Harvick. And right in front of Kyle Busch, who also had a penalty. Not a very quick pit stop at all for the 9 team, and it looks like there is a lug nut laying on pit road. The tire will stay on for now to at least complete the lap. But a 132.52 for Elliott, 10th fastest, I guess with no penalty. It's all right, but a speeding issue for Byron, Busch, and Blaney. The 3 Bs. Has left Joey Logano in the top spot for quite some time through qualifying. And the 129.75 continues to stand. Having the hiccup on pit road as he could not get that lug nut secured tightly on the left rear tire. So Hendrick Motorsports on pit road today, not as good as they have been throughout the season. The 5 team with a mistake with the jack dropping early. The 9 team not getting the left rear lug nut on the left rear tire secured tightly. And Byron himself just speeding on pit road. And Alex Bowman not qualifying, obviously, as he is in the open. And he'll be starting second for that later on tomorrow. So Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. up on the racetrack. Hamlin, so far through turns 1 and 2, a pretty good qualifying lap going for himself. Just off raw speed alone through 3 and 4. Really good there as well. And Hamlin actually had a faster first lap than Joey Logano on the scoring sheet. Now has to execute flawlessly on pit road. Hamlin is down there, and he will utilize the inside lane just as his veteran counterpart Joey Logano had done, although Logano did not use it through turns 1 and 2. He used it through 3 and 4. Hamlin through 1 and 2 will use it, and that's the same thing Tyler Reddick did, but Reddick had a penalty. Reddick did not have a penalty. Reddick was 6th. The pit crew themselves not as quick. Clean stop so far for the 11. A little slow on the left sides. 15.387, and I think that slow pit stop is going to cost them. They were quick on the rights, but when they got over to the lefts, they were definitely slow. And Hamlin, despite having a quicker first lap, his pit crew is not able to get him off of pit road quick enough. Joey Logano will remain P1 with 1 more driver to go. And again, this top spot will start them on the pole for the All-Star race. The rest of the positioning orders will be made up during the heat races later tonight to set the lineup for tomorrow. Each of those heat races will be 60 laps as well later on this evening, barring any rain. So Hamlin fast on track, pit crew was not. As a result of that, Hamlin had timed in 10th fastest. At 131.85 for Denny Hamlin, so 10th of 16 qualifiers. Martin Truex Jr.'s team is the last to go. So it's between Truex and Logano for the pole. Good turns 1 and 2 for Truex. Just like Denny Hamlin having a pretty quick qualifying lap, the Toyotas have had great speed on short tracks all season, so no surprise there. Logano slightly faster through 3 and 4, though, than Martin Truex Jr., and overall in that first lap, the 22 is a bit quicker. Now the 19 to pit road. And the 20 team, of course, of Christopher Bell. Their pit crew currently leading the pit stop competition with a 13.2. So it's between Bell and Truex on their pit crews for that extra $100,000. Teammates at JGR, that was a quick one, but not quick enough. 14-0. And the 20 team has won the pit stop competition. Truex will still have to complete his lap to lock in his qualifying time, but the 20 team has won the pit stop competition. And Martin Truex Jr. will not have a shot at the pole on Logano, so Joey Logano, despite his crew not winning the pit stop competition, will win the pole for tomorrow's All-Star race. And Truex times in 8th quickest with a 130.95 for Martin Truex Jr. Jamie Little with the 20 team.
Team, you're on series. You guys are the winners. But I have to ask you, a lot of teams had trouble on the left side. You guys were a little slow on the left side. What was different?
The cars were actually set up in race trim, so they weren't as easy as last year when they set it up for us to just pit it and go as fast as we could. It's a lot of trouble that you saw today. But besides all that, Jamie, I wouldn't want to battle with no other guys, and I wouldn't want to do it for no other driver than Christopher Bell.
Christopher, here's supporting you, Michael Hicks. By the rankings, #1 rear changer on pit road. You've been doing this for 20 years, Michael. You still get excited about what does this moment mean to you and being on a team like this that's so competitive with such a great driver?
I'm blessed to be with a good group of guys, right? Like I couldn't do this if I didn't have a good supporting cast. Those guys are the best on pit road. We got a stud for a driver. Like you're going back to what you were talking about on pitting the car, like even like me knowing the left rear is going to be hard. And you can still pause and you can still wait and you still fight challenges like that, even though you know what's going to happen. So yeah, it's awesome to know these guys.
You guys were sweating it when the 11 went out because you train with them every week. You push each other, right?
Yes. The 11's been great all year. We practice with each other each and every day, so we know what those guys got. They know what we got, but we know it's going to come down to a Joe Gibbs crew, which is special to say. You know what I mean? So we've been good, man. Back to back, baby.
So talked about your driver, Christopher Bell. They said they got a stud as a driver. You got in and out of the box perfectly. What do you have to say about these guys, Christopher?
I mean, what can you say? This is 2 in a row for these guys, and they've been awesome. So I'm incredibly happy for them and honored to be their driver. So I'm happy that I was able to stop on my mark. That's been a huge topic of conversation in our meetings, is making sure that you get to the sign deep enough and the tires locked up so that they can get on the lug while you're stopping. That's a big part of it. And then obviously taking off as soon as that jack drops. So these guys did amazing. And that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Congratulations to you and your team. They are pumped up. Mike, this is what it's all about today.
4 different organizations in the first 4 spots through challenge, 6 different organizations in the first 7 finishing positions in the pit crew challenge. When we come back, we'll visit with a first-time All-Star Race pole sitter.
So again, Joey Logano won the pole, and we don't have the full leaderboard on screen for you guys. So as soon as they come back from the commercial break, we'll get that interview in with Joey Logano, and then I'm sure they will update the full leaderboard standings. We did hit our goal of 25 likes for this very short live commentary stream. It'll end up being a little less than an hour with the pit road qualifying at North Wilkesboro for, again, the All-Star race, which is scheduled tomorrow. So the Truck Series race is scheduled to run at 1:30 Eastern Time today. There is rain in the forecast a little bit later on this afternoon, but the plan is still to live stream at 1:30 for the Truck Series race. So a little under 45 minutes from now, we will be live again, and that will be on a separate stream. Right now, clear skies at North Wilkesboro Speedway. I do think they'll get the race started. It's going to be whether or not will they get the race finished would be the next question. And again, we'll stay right here for the next couple minutes. You'll get to hear from pole sitter for tomorrow's All-Star race, Joey Logano, next. And we'll have a look at the updated leaderboard. The 20 team, as you just heard from there, pitting for Christopher Bell, had won the pit stop competition and that $100,000 cash bonus. That is the same pit crew that won the pit crew competition, as you heard, last year, although they were pitting Ty Gibbs last season, this season on the 20 team for Bell. It is a bit strange that they're able to thrive under pressure here, but it seems like in the races they tend to struggle. They tend to struggle on race day, but they're on it during these pit crew competitions when they have that added bonus. Maybe they need like some sort of incentive during the race too. On 1771, thanks for tuning in as well. A lot of people talking about rain later today. Like I said, they should get the race started today. It's just a matter of will they finish it or not. It's going to be the question. They only have to get halfway through the race to make it official as well. Lap 125 or the end of stage 2, whatever comes first. Which I believe the stages are 70, 70, and 110 for the truck race today. So the halfway point at lap 125 is what we'd be racing to in the truck race to make it official and get to the halfway mark. So that is going to definitely add some pressure on these teams to get the job done early and often.
Challenge for Christopher. That's one.
Pull for the heat race today, but you pull for the All-Star tomorrow as well. You just told you that. How much better does that make all this? It's changing every week. Lost the race, but very proud of the team. This qualifying session is the most fun session of the year, and it really takes the whole team, right? The cars got to go fast. We got to execute on the pit road well. The spotters got to do a good job with helping me get through my lights and being on the same page with me there. Got to be able to stop in the stall. The pit crew's got to do their part. And then back up onto the racetrack. So it really takes every crew member all the way through, right? Even setting the lights on your dash, the engineers that science all that out. Everybody's got to do their part to make it happen, and that's why it means a lot to get an all-star pole. Never got one before. I think I've never actually stopped in the stall when we used to qualify in Charlotte going 150. So I'm glad I made the stall this time, and overall, obviously a great start spot. So good little momentum booster for our team. You talk about all that stuff that you had to do this afternoon to get the pole position. Tomorrow night, all that stuff and then more is going to come into the equation, including the set of soft tires that you're going to have to manipulate, figure out how you want to use those, when you want to use them, you start the race on them. What was your thoughts yesterday as we got those tires and we had the different sets? Yeah, sure, the strategy's so clear. A lot of it depends on where you're starting and what you're trying to do, and I like it. First off, I think it gives a great option that makes some comers and goers. There's no doubt it's faster for a few laps. And then how much does it fall off? It seemed like it kind of depended on the car. Some cars fell off hard. Some cars were able to kind of flatline eventually. It just really depends. So I guess that's why I got to tune in tomorrow night to watch just to see how it works. Hopefully we get some heat races in tonight. All of us can learn a little bit with that compound as well and how it races. But it definitely adds something to it, and it really accomplishes a lot more of that fall off that we've been looking for. All right, congratulations, Joey.
Joey was quick to share the credit, but a lot should go to him. His pit crew was fifth in the pit crew challenge, yet Logano is on the pole for tonight's heat race and for the all-star race tomorrow evening. We'll be right back to wrap things up for North Wilkesboro qualifying.
All right, so sounds like they're going to come back from break again. I'm sure we'll get through the rest of the starting lineup. I want to get that out to you guys. So we'll have the heat race starting lineup for later tonight before we end the stream. Again, Joey Logano on the pole for the All-Star race tomorrow and would be on the pole for heat race number 1. Brad Keselowski will be on the pole for heat race number 2. So we'll see. Stephen Harvey, thanks for tuning in. Truck Series race is scheduled for 1:30 today. I haven't checked on the weather for North Wilkesboro since the stream started almost an hour ago. So I will get an update on that. I know after 2 p.m. there were thunderstorms in the area. It looks like that is cleared out. At least until a little bit later in the evening. 48% chance of rain. It's a lot less than what it was. I think earlier today it was like in the high 70 percentile in chances of thunderstorming after 2 p.m. So while there is still a chance of rain in a couple hours from now, it's not as high as it was. It does look like it will rain eventually today at North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's just a matter of when will it come. As it may get pushed back. I think the heat races are in a lot more jeopardy than the actual truck race today. Just by the look of it. Once again, be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so. Subscribe for more NASCAR content as well. Again, live commentary still to come at 1:30 for the truck race. And for the heat races later tonight, as long as they don't get canceled because of rain as well. I didn't realize there was a trophy on the line as well for the pit crew competition. There you go. Pretty big one, too. And the team gets to bring back to the Joe Gibbs Racing Shop, just south of the North Wilkesboro Speedway. All right, starting lineup for heat race number 1 later tonight for the All-Star race. 9 drivers in heat 1, 8 in heat 2, 60 laps per heat race. Again, Logano is on the pole for the All-Star race and for tonight's heat, excuse me. Christopher Bell outside of the front row after his team won the Pit Crew Challenge, so he'll be outside front row in heat 1. In row number 2 will be Chris Buescher and Ross Chastain, Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin in row 3. Row 4 will be made up of William Byron and Chase Elliott. Row 5 will be Ryan Blaney. So those are the 9 starters in heat 1. The heat race number 2 starting lineup. Again, Brad Keselowski on the pole for heat 2. Daniel Suarez will be outside of the front row. Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr. will line up in row 2. Row 3, AJ Allmendinger and Kyle Larson. Now, with Larson having run a later qualifying time for the Indy 500, Kevin Harvick may be in the 5 car for the heat races as well later today. Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will round out the heat race number 2 starting lineup in row 4. So that is your starting grid for tonight's heat races for the All-Star race, which will set the lineup for tomorrow's main event. And the Open obviously has already been qualified. They don't have heat races. They will just go live for their 100-lap dash tomorrow afternoon before the All-Star race at night. Again, 1:30 Eastern start time for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Again, weather pending on that one, but if there's no delays, we will go live right at 1:30 in a little over a half hour from now. Thanks for tuning in to the short live commentary stream. Again, a little less than an hour here, but that is because practice had concluded yesterday. And open qualifying concluded yesterday. All we had was the main All-Star race qualifying here on this stream, so that's why it was so short. But truck race will be a little bit longer, and obviously we'll have the heat races again later today. So a lot of action still to come on the channel. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.